Hi boys and girls, it's Yaya. Today we are going to be scientists. Actually, we're going to be chemists. Chemists study chemistry, which is a branch of science. So if you picture science like a big giant tree, it has lots of branches, and one of those branches is chemistry. So a chemist studies matter, and matter is anything that takes up space, and they use these substance or matter and mix them together to create something new. And they observe and see if there's any changes in the things they mix together, or if they create something new. So our first experiment that we're going to do is just two substances or two ingredients. The first substance is Jello, or ingredient you can call it, just any powdered Jello. And then the second one is just water. And you will need an eyedropper for this experiment. If you have a medicine dropper, that might also work. So what I did this at my school with my boys and girls, and we had to practice dropping the water. So you squeeze the bulb and you put it in the water and it'll suck up, and then you let go of the bulb. And what I want you to do is practice doing one drop at a time, because see, if you push too hard, a lot of drops come out all at once. And so you just need to get one drop coming out at a time. The third thing that you do need, it's not really an ingredient, but it helps with this experiment, is wax paper. So I just cut off a piece of wax paper, and we're going to get a tablespoon of the powdered Jello. This is kind of a fun experiment to do maybe around snack time, because you're going to actually create something that you can eat. So take a tablespoon of the Jello. Let's put that over here. And then I'm going to get my eyedropper full of water again. All right, before I drop the water onto the Jello, I want you to think for a minute, what do you think is going to happen? So we know, you know what water is. You take showers and baths and drink water. But the Jello, you can kind of feel it with your fingers and describe it. It's kind of grainy and powdery. So what do you think? What's going to happen when we drop just drips of water on there? If you want to, you can pause the video right now and tell your mom or dad or whoever you're watching the video with, or just yourself, and try to predict what you think might happen. Okay, did you guys guess? I have a guess in my head, but I've actually done the experiment before, so it's kind of cheating. So I'm going to do a little drop at a time. Wow, it's darker red and it formed like a little blob. I'm going to do some more. Oh, that's really cool. If you wanted to, you could probably make some sort of smiley face or decoration with it. One thing I want to recommend is that you leave spaces between them. And again, just try to do one drop at a time. Oh, that was itty bitty drop, wasn't it? Okay. Now, once you've done that, you're going to set your eyedropper aside, and you're going to take your wax paper and just kind of wiggle it around. Oh my goodness, they're wiggling around. You know what they look like? Oh, they look like little gummies. You think I should try one? Let me see. Delicious. Oh, I love it. So that's something you can do and say, hey, I'm a chemist. I combined some Jello and water, and I made these little gummies. And they definitely did change their physical appearance, didn't they, by combining those two things. So now we're going to move on to another experiment that I'm sure a lot of you have done this at home or at school. I'm going to make some slime. And we're going to talk again about being a chemist, or combining different substances, and we're going to see if they change, their physical appearance changes. So we're just starting with your basic glue. This is 8 ounces, a little bit less because I think I did use a little tiny bit of it, and you're just going to pour that in. It's fun to do in a glass bowl because then you can see the changes a little bit better from above and then on the sides. But if you don't have one, you can just do it in a regular mixing bowl. can see how liquidy it is. Okay, I think that's about it. Well, I thought it was. Okay, now you're going to set that aside, and in a separate container, you're going to use some multi-purpose contact solution, and you will need your measuring spoon. Being a chemist is a little bit like being a chef. You have to have some exact ways to measure what you're doing. So in this recipe, it calls for 1.5 tablespoons of contact solution. And this is a solution you can like actually squirt in your eyes. It's not the soap solution used to clean your contacts with. So 1.5 tablespoons of the contact solution and 1/2 teaspoon, is that right, of baking soda. Okay, not sure if that's right, but we'll see. Maybe I wrote it down wrong. So, is that the 1/2? Here's the 1/2. Okay, of baking soda. And we're going to add that there to the contact solution. So far we've had 3 substances, right? The glue, the contact solution, and the baking soda. I'm going to stir that around. So, the only difference I see is that it's changed color a little bit. So you don't need to add color if you don't want to, but you can. And I decided I'm going to make this blue. So I'm using blue food coloring. Mix a couple of drops to the baking soda. I kind of like to watch it mix a little before I actually stir it in, but now I'm going to go ahead and stir it in. There we go. All right. So, let's look at the glue. The glue's still just plain old glue. And then we notice that the 3 things we put in here, contact solution, baking soda, and food coloring, it looks blue, but it's still, you know, kind of liquidy. So now we're going to mix this solution into the glue, and we'll see if the glue changes at all when we mix these things together. Okay, so I'm going to stir the glue with that. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Do you see that, boys and girls? Remember how liquidy the glue was? It's getting all gloopy and globby. Let me see, I gotta mix this together some more. That was quick. Look at that. Okay, now I'm going to kind of get my hands in there and mix it together some. And you'll see, sometimes it's real sticky like this. And I actually might have to ask Pops to squeeze a little bit of the contact solution on. Because if you don't want it real sticky to where it sticks to you, you can add a little bit of contact solution. And then it makes it kind of less sticky. There we go. Oop, a little bit more Pops right there. All right. So I want to tell you something. I have done this experiment at school, and when I did it, I've done it different than I did it today. Today I followed the exact directions from Google. But what I've done is I usually use the food coloring. I usually mix it with the glue. So you get a little bit darker color if you mix the food coloring with the glue. But I decided to try and do it the other way. And you know what? That's what scientists do. They try things over and over in different ways and try and figure out which one they like best or which works best. So then you can have lots of fun playing with your slime. And you can make it a lot stickier than this if you want. It's just that Yaya doesn't like it quite that sticky. Now, there's always this question. So I told you chemists study matter. And matter comes in three forms. One of them is solid. So solid is just something that's hard, you can feel it, you can knock it over, it takes up space. And then there's liquid, which is like water or milk or juice. And if you pour it out, it goes everywhere. So it kind of has to be in a container to measure it. And then there's slime. So we're not sure, is slime a solid or is it a liquid? So I want you guys to help me decide. We're going to do one last little experiment. I'm going to take a ball of Play-Doh and stick it on one plate over here. By the way, I love this Play-Doh. It's called Crayola Dough Pate. Very fancy name. But out of all the Play-Dohs you can buy, this one is really my favorite because it stays soft really long. And I've been playing with Play-Doh for a long time, so I kind of know Play-Doh. So I'm going to put this Play-Doh in a ball. And Play-Doh is a solid. So we're going to put it over here in a ball and stick it on this plate right here. And then I'm going to put the slime in a ball next to the Play-Doh plate. And then we're going to come back in about 15 or 30 minutes and we're going to see if there's anything different. Right now they look the same, a ball of Play-Doh and a ball of slime. All right, see you in a few minutes. Okay, boys and girls, it's about 20 minutes later, and let's make an observation. So the Play-Doh is in the same ball that it was 20 minutes ago. But look at the slime. It's flat now. It's not, remember it was round and now it's flat. So remember we talked about matter. There's three types of matter. There's solid and liquid and gas, and maybe we'll do an experiment one day with the gas. So right now though, we're just talking about solid and liquids. So is slime a solid? Because when it was all bunched up, it looked like a solid, right? But now it looks like it's all spread out, more like a liquid. So I'm going to give you the scientific definition of exactly what slime is. Slime is a non-Newtonian fluid. And that is a fluid that's neither liquid or solid. So it can be picked up like a solid, but it can also be oozed like a liquid. So see how it oozes? I made mine pretty. So we learned something new today. We created something that wasn't a liquid or a solid. It's a non-Newtonian liquid. Learn something new every day. Bye.